We're now live.
We're now live?
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody to this meeting of council, June 19th, 2024. And we're starting roughly at 6:00 p.m. Call this meeting to order and acknowledge that the meeting is taking place in Mi'kmaq, the traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This meeting is being live streamed on the Town of Annapolis Royal YouTube channel. So to those present in the gallery today, by attending the public meeting of the council, you're consenting to having your image, your voice, your comments recorded as well as what you're wearing. Anyone who's invited to speak will be recorded and their voice, image, and comments will form part of the live stream. The chair and or the CAO have the discretion and authority at any time to direct the termination or interruption of live streaming, which has never happened before, but could. Such direction can be given in exceptional circumstances when deemed relevant. We have one regret from Paula Hafting, who could not join us this evening, but otherwise all council is here. And are there any additions to the agenda? So none, hearing none, the agenda is approved by unanimous consent. And if there are no changes to the council minutes of May 15th, 2024. Hearing none, they're also approved by unanimous consent. We have two presentations this evening, and we get to hear a presentation from the Annapolis County Outdoor Sports Society, ACOS, right? Or ACOS?
That's correct. ACOS.
Okay, so take it away, Mr. M.
My name is Laurie M. I'm with ACOS. We're promoting and maintaining and developing the hub in Bridgetown. The municipality of Annapolis County owns the hub. We have a 5-year lease to operate, maintain, and promote it. We also have a memorandum of understanding with the Annapolis Valley Regional Education Center to operate and maintain their soccer pitch and their beach volleyball court. ACOS is an organization of volunteers. Everybody is getting old. We're registered with Joint Stocks and we're insured. Our principles of operating are, we want to be welcoming and engaging to everyone. We have respect for users and spectators alike. We promote equity in our operations, diversity and inclusion. The hub is accessible to all people. And we're trying to organize it so it can be run with the objective of sustainability. We have accessible washrooms and canteen. We're actually going to add the canteen area with a viewing deck that would give spectacular views of the South Mountain and the soccer pitch and the track. It's amazing that nobody picked it up earlier. We have an artificial soccer pitch, artificial surface soccer pitch, and a track. They are completely lit for nighttime use. The track also has a, we haven't found anybody to use it yet, but it has a steeplechase feature. We don't know any steeplechase runners, but.
What is a steeplechase? Sorry.
It's a pit that is wet during races.
Okay,
It comes off just around here.
okay.
It's not small like hurdles, it's large, almost like a horse jump. Like
Yeah.
a water pit on the other side.
Oh.
Yeah. So you clear the hurdle and then you go through the water pit and
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
You've done it.
Oh, watched it.
We have facilities, long jump, hop, skip and jump, high jump, triple jump. Over on the, this is the school's soccer pitch over here. We have a javelin track. It's on the upper right-hand corner. On the left-hand side, or the right-hand side rather, we have a cage for throwing discus and hammer. We also have a shot put facility, so we can accommodate all of the track and field activities. That's the school pitch. It's an actual turf soccer pitch. We started work on it last summer, and Stuart Ascott, who is the turf manager for Eden,
Oh, wow.
Annapolis,
Yeah.
or the
Fort View.
Fortview and Berwick Heights. He's also our turf manager. And he went at it last year and made significant improvements. We've actually upgraded it to the point where it can be used for soccer now. We also have a youth soccer pitch that's located immediately north of the artificial pitch. It's also a practice area, so it's fully fenced. And kids can go there and play. We have, as a part of the overall complex, we have a memorial garden that was constructed after the high school was torn down. So we have signage, electronic sound that you've probably seen if you drive through town. We have a chimney swift roost that's actually been built, it's complete now. We have 2 tennis courts. One of them has been lined for a pair of pickleball courts. You were mentioning a pickleball.
Yes, I want to attempt this.
My oldest son was in Florida with his wife, and he's in his early 50s.
A baby.
And he and his wife took a pickleball lesson, and they thought it was great.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to take it up if we can fit it in. We have a beach volleyball court that actually belongs to the school, but it's included in our memorandum of understanding with the school board. Beach volleyball is also a very popular activity. And we have a trail that connects the school parking lot to the Harvest Trail. That was just completed this week, except we have to put side borders on it, although we've got the lumber
Well, that's good.
lined up for that. The school owns the property between the trail and the river, so from a technical perspective, we also have direct access to the river.
Oh, interesting.
And we've got a guy coming in, he should be arriving this week. Who has got some great ideas. He's retired now from the Running Team in Ottawa. And knows all kinds of people in all kinds of sports across the country. And he's got some great ideas as to what we could do to integrate hub activities with the trail and the river.
What's his name, Lori?
Phil Marsh.
His name just recently come up. I don't know where, but I've heard about him.
He's volunteered to provide us with 10 years of his life free.
Wow,
Yeah,
Wow.
that's amazing.
I don't know if he knows yet if it's gonna be working out of the canteen.
It's gonna have a nice view.
Well, he didn't have a week ago.
Some of the future projects that we've got In Mullen, the viewing deck. I showed you earlier. We're going to build a pavilion. It's going to be located immediately north of the soccer pitch in this area. We've got quotations from contractors for that sort of work. Wheelchair access, improved wheelchair access to the canteen and the accessible washrooms. We're not quite sure why the county did what they did, but they built, accessible washrooms, 3 accessible washrooms in a canteen, but in order for someone in a wheelchair to get it there to the school property.
I heard it's a long distance away from
Yeah,
anything, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to make a connection so that someone can go from here to there and connect into the deck.
Well, that makes more sense.
They'll have full access to the viewing platform, but also to the tennis courts.
Okay,
Yes, that's the other thing, we're improving access for wheelchair people.
that's amazing.
Yeah. We've got pickleball courts in the long-term plan. To replace the use.
The going ones.
Some windscreen and lighting for the tennis courts. We've got a storage building that we need to build. We have equipment now. It's in a sea can down by the washrooms. We're going to build a storage facility. One of the 3 bays in the storage facility has to be heated. That's a county requirement for the recreation people to store materials. We build an administration center. That's probably going to be located in this area. So Phil will finally get an office. And Phil wants us to build a starter's tower.
What is that?
It's a tower that would be located at the end of the sprint track.
Mhm.
Where the starters can actually start a race and do the timing and. I'm not. We're a long way from that yet, but that's where we're headed. So that's who we are and what we have. And what we're trying to do now is make people aware of what we have and what we're doing.
Yeah.
To see if there's anything that we've missed. We actually had 2 public consultation sessions in Bridgetown. Very well attended. Ideas like the pavilion came up from that public consultation. We missed it completely.
Is that a viewing pavilion?
It's an open-sided covered facility to provide shelter and shade for both athletes and spectators. It's located between the youth soccer pitch and the main soccer pitch. People will be able to stand there
Love that.
and see what's going on around them. But so anything else that you can think of that we need to add to the facility, we're soliciting ideas.
We're also soliciting volunteers.
Yes.
That's what I was
Some of
gonna-
us are getting old.
How many, when you say your volunteer group, how many do you have
I would
currently?
say we have about 15 right now.
That's good, but still for something this big.
Yes.
You
yes.
know, and you probably didn't want to sign on for life. You probably do want other people to kind of step up and,
Well, my background is in building things,
okay,
so
build it and they will come.
I'm in charge of capital projects,
Uh-huh,
but Bill handles money. Jeff handles communications. We have a whole bunch of other people.
wow, you guys are doing amazing. I do have a couple questions. your numbers, are you able to track somehow how many people use your facility? That would be good,
Yeah.
like even for writing grants or anything
Yeah.
like that. Okay,
Yeah, that's part of our plan is to.
yeah,
Put in some kind of system that we can count users.
and what about advertising it or promoting on our website or our town crier even? As another avenue to
Yeah.
promote what you have and what you have to offer, cause maybe people don't know all of the
Yeah.
great things. And what's your operational costs like, or do you know, is that?
We had no idea really,
Okay.
but we're working with a grant of $50,000 a year. from the
Yeah.
county.
Yeah, so the county supplies that, the
Yeah.
50,
Everything else, we've got to raise, so.
wow,
And this is coming to us as of January, so this financial exercise is the one that will reveal to us some of those answers here.
right, okay, wow. You guys are doing an amazing job.
We have, most of the work is being done by volunteers.
Yeah, our community, it's amazing what volunteers can do.
Yeah.
And continue to do,
And this just isn't the center of the county thing, this is a county asset
yeah,
that we need to really jump on.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we see it in the longer term as a regional asset.
Mhm.
And that includes Digby County, Kings County, all the way into Halifax. And this is the only artificial soccer pitch and track west of Halifax
Yeah,
that isn't located on a university campus.
yeah, do you have a lot of schools coming or,
We're
to,
starting to see them.
yeah, I think you're right, you need to promote and
Yeah.
get your name out there and let people know that, just what you said. It's
Who
amazing,
runs the program?
Murray Freeman is doing the programming, looking after the program right now, he and Bob Powell. But Phil Marsh will be actively involved in that when he comes.
awesome. Well, what other people
Laura,
ask questions?
if I may, just to tag to that, so Phil Marsh, just in terms of putting a story, an idea, giving an image of what this could become. Phil not only comes to us as an asset with great experience and connections to Parliament and Senate and running events across the country, and it's particularly Eastern Canada. That also means he has perspective on what this is. And he compares this probably to what was built for the Pan Am Games in terms of just the sports infrastructure of it, not the amenities around.
Right.
And so it's a very unique thing that probably couldn't have been built if we'd started a plan and tried to get it built, but now we have it. And we need to build the community of support around it to
Yeah.
actualize all that potential. And so it's a very unique and interesting thing that probably isn't parallel. He puts it on par saying he would compare it, like the best track that he would run on and do events on in Ottawa. He says there are bumps in it. That's the kind of thing we don't have. This is state of the art here. And he would put it probably in the top 5 in the country, but then when you put the setting along with the trail, access to the
River.
the Harvest Moon Trail as well as the river, puts us in a very unique position in terms of what kind of events could be happening here beyond just the track, which could spill over to our accommodations, within
Yeah,
30-40 minutes in all directions. And so there's great potential here beyond just how we use it for ourselves.
For the business community too.
Exactly.
One of the interesting features about the track is that it was designed and built for wheelchair racing.
oh,
Now, we have Special Olympics coming up.
There's I think it's within the next couple of weeks.
Within the next couple of weeks, there is a Special Olympics
It's a training session.
training session down here.
And that's one of the things that Phil Marsh was very keen on, is Special Olympics. In fact, his last marathon, he actually ran with a wheelchair
wow,
and a
I'm
person
gonna
in
meet the guy.
And we have a guy from Berwick who comes up to Bridgetown 2 or 3 times a week, with his wheelchair and works out on the track.
Any other questions from anyone? Questions?
I think it's a fantastic facility. You know, I remember going to track meets when I was in high school. And what we had then was nothing like what we have now. And so I appreciate also, you know, it's great that we have this facility, but the fact that your group of volunteers stepped up to the plate to manage it is, you know, you deserve a lot of credit for that.
That credit goes to guys like Bob Powell and Murray Freeman, who saw the opportunity that this presented for the region.
Yeah,
And Lori's point about how this is the only one that's not tied to an existing institution means that we, in addition to all of the infrastructure side of things that we've described very in detail, it means we also have an opportunity to run it in a way that is both formal and elite, but then also open to community use in a way that you don't usually have such a structure. So there's a very intriguing set of possibilities here on that side as well, on the community, open, informal use side of it. And
We're hoping to keep a lot of the youth programs free.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I'd like to see added, I spent quite a bit of time in Ottawa. And we had in Ottawa a number of fields like this. And in the wintertime, they would put up domes so that they could be used for soccer throughout the season. And when there were tracks, sometimes they would include a track underneath the dome so that the track could be used as well. I suspect that cost a heck of a lot of money.
that's crazy.
We're working on a 5-year plan right now, and that is frankly, it's beyond for 5 years. But if the facility gets the kind of use that we hope that it will get, then that kind of expense is warranted.
We'd like to get it to the point where it's self-sustaining.
Yeah,
And we are talking about maybe various sort of captains and champions of various programs. Somebody was saying, well, I'd love to be able to walk on the track in the winter, so I'd be willing to go out and shovel, sweep off the outside rings so that we can at least have that to continue using in the winter, or like we're exploring possible, or somebody, I love snowshoeing, I'd break a trail around that track in the summer, in the winter. So things like that may be happening, that don't require vast capital expenditure.
We're still gonna have to go outside.
At the present time, walkers are free. They can walk the track or the trails in the Memorial Park down here. Youth activities are free. The schools get to use the facility for practice for free. If they have an event, then they have to book it and pay the fees, but their, practices are free. So we hope to be able to keep those kinds of features in the long-term plan.
Well, that sounds great. So I think we got some questions from everybody.
Yes.
I just throw in kayaks and canoes.
That's with the river connection.
People need training for the dragon boat races. Not fair to throw them in the water. So I'm going to thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for
For the
coming.
opportunity.
Very interesting. Thank you, material. We have it.
Good.
We'll communicate it
yeah.
through the town crier, as Holly suggested. We'll get the word out.
If you are interested, both the meetings that we had in January, February are online too. And we were very pleased with the attendance, but we were also pleased with the number of people that watched it and offered questions.
Well, if we could get links to the videos or know where to get them, I guess they're they're there. Yeah, they're there. Good. We can add that to the site. Thank you.
You want?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The opportunity.
Okay. And I think everybody's got a copy of the next presentation. Yeah, the material.
I like the bowl. Yeah, well,
Thank you
no.
very much, gentlemen.
I got contact.
Thank you all.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. And who's presenting for the fire department?
I'll read it.
Okay, all right,
I wrote it all down so that I could just read through it and everybody could follow me along in this.
okay, that's good.
As we're all aware, the town truck is in need of replacement. Town truck is 2002 E line, which is 22 years old. Underwriter state that a frontline fire engine has a frontline span of 20 years. Right now, we use our county funded truck to cover this 20-year old. The V1 county fire truck is still meeting basic needs within the jobs it's used for. But the conversation needs to be started on the decision moving forward. I wrote down some deficiencies that we know of. It's got a leaking seal from the pump gearbox every year when it gets pump service. They have to take and drain all the oil out of it to remove the water. And it's creating the pump inside the casing, but it's still getting by. The siren equipment is starting to become worn and starting to fail. The door gaskets all around the doors are starting to become worn and leaking in a little bit of water. It has halogen lighting on its all scene lighting, which is very hard to replace now that everything's gone to LED. The PTO generator is starting to burn oil, so when we want lights, we have to turn on the onboard generator. And it's the engine on it's starting to burn oil. Can't use as a frontline fire truck if our fire engine went down, that's provided by the county funding. This one wouldn't meet those needs because it's not certified by the underwriters. Cabin hinges are starting to become worn, the doors are flopping around. The frame underneath starting to show some rust. The AC and the heat are working, but they're starting to need some work. The air conditioner has to be touched up every year. And there's a valve, manual valve, you have to turn to get heat out of it. It's kind of old school. And then I put here, these are just some examples of things that the age of the truck is starting to show. Some fire department members have shown interest in the conversation that has been brought to attention by the town CEO. We've talked to Sandy a little bit about the possibility of replacing with an aerial device. Currently, we have a wait time approximately 40 to 50 minutes for our closest aerial truck to arrive in the time of need. The recent fire Whiskey Teller and Office Royal have shown us the importance of this piece of equipment and how it can be utilized in the area. With us already having a pumper truck and a fire station, we feel that acquiring another apparatus to do the same job may not be the best direction to go. And purchasing an aerial will allow us to broaden our capabilities and be able to respond faster to emergencies that will require an aerial. Some emergencies we do around the area now are completed with a fire pump, but could be completed safer and easier with an aerial device. Examples of some jobs for an aerial: steel roofs. It's a hard job, especially in the winter time. You get up on a steel roof, you're constantly sliding. The new academy condo at the top floor, the Queen Anne Inn, the town hall, major fires at high elevation, school AWAC. All connected or close buildings, example of all down through town, and chimney fires. Another example, if you had a fire in condos upstairs, we could be on the ground and drag 4 or 5 houses up, or we could put a ladder device to a window, and instead of taking 20 minutes, it might take 8. An aerial can be used for a lot more than just structural firefighting. This is a large spectrum of jobs. There is a large spectrum of jobs for this device. Recently, in a fire study that was hired out by the county of Annapolis to have done for our fire service, there's 3 options for our fire department for future succession planning. All 3 of these options have the recommendation and state the need for an aerial apparatus, especially within the town of Annapolis Royal. We would like to ask town council to take into consideration this recommendation to replace the current truck. They not only help better the fire protection and emergency prompt response we as firefighters provide to our area, but also assist in making our jobs easier, the difficult tasks we face while doing this job. As mentioned before, the Whiskey Teller fire we faced downtown Annapolis Royal opened our eyes as a fire department on how much we could currently utilize an aerial apparatus. So I put here for aerial specifications if we were to move forward with that idea, if that's so chosen. We would purchase a single axle fire truck, which is 4 feet longer than a regular pumper. So it still keeps you within the same size radius. We're not looking for a great big tandem monster truck. 75-foot ladder on the roof, which would be more than sufficient for what we need. It would be a Quint style truck, so ladder only. That would give us all the capabilities. 1500 pump, 500 gallon water tank on board, and 5 jump seats for firefighters. The reason behind the single axle truck is it still gives us maneuverability around the area, but also gives us 75 feet of the ladder, which will reach everything we need to. Essentially, it's a pumper with a ladder on the roof. One great thing about a ladder truck is a 20-year certification rule does not apply to them. I'm not sure why, but that's how it works in the rule book. We would propose that we buy a used truck to help save costs. Where it will be used for specific jobs, this will work out for us. Having not to worry about the 20-year rule would allow us to buy something around the 2005 to 2010-ish and not have any worries. We have found by just reaching out, looking around, out of curiosity, a complete refurbished from the ground up 75-foot quint that is in complete showroom condition and priced at $325,000. It's US funds. That would more than exceed our needs. The town's current truck will be sold by us or you guys, the town, and used towards the payment of the ladder device. The price would have to be discussed in a private camera conversation, because it would have to work for tender. And we would like to thank you for listening to our presentation, and hopefully we take this into consideration. And I put a picture of just the example truck that we have found. And that's why the 2005 would work, because that ladder certification covers your pump certification. For whatever reason they do that, I don't make those rules, and that would work out for us.
Thoughts or questions? Who would like to start?
Well, okay, so this one here, for example, is the 2005.
Yeah,
And there's no, you can have that for as long
as
as,
long as the ladder passes certification, the truck passes.
right,
We do our general maintenance every year. so
Okay.
make Sure that that ladder is gonna meet and exceed what we're supposed to have.
yeah, and the engine and all that stuff, yeah.
That truck has been refurbished at the time of purchase,
Yeah,
so it's been tested and certified.
How long do you think a ladder
Last.
would last?
We're hoping to get 20 years out of that.
Cause if it's a 2005, is this the first refurbishment?
To our knowledge, we haven't really done a whole lot of digging into the truck besides finding out a little bit of nuts and bolts so we can bring back to council and let them know. Again, that truck has been totally gone over, and it's
Wow.
done by a certified dealership down there.
Mhm.
And it's exactly what Alex just said, showroom condition. With the maintenance and care that we put into the vehicles, that we do every year. This is something that we would love to be able to hold on to for 20 years. And start a succession plan after we do the purchase and say, okay, we've got this for 20 years. Let's start putting into our pot. And getting ready for when the 20-year does come up.
Yeah.
That we do have the money that's accessible and ready to go to do the purchase, instead of being blindsided with a huge dollar sign that we all know that we just can't reach at this point.
Yeah. Even with a ladder.
Yeah. Well, we got 75 feet to reach now, we get that.
the newer you go, you're looking at aerial devices, the bigger the price.
Of course.
So a
Yeah.
brand new 75-foot quint, single axle truck's gonna run you about 2.5 million.
Okay.
And that's way out of.
How-
what budget.
This.
Maybe the county could do that for
Nice. This is, yeah,
So like that's a 2005, maybe we say, okay, let's have it for 15 years, let's sell it while it's still valuable, and then now that we have it, we're working with it, and then we'll do something from there.
yeah,
We need to have a game plan in place.
yeah,
And right now, where this is all brand new to us, I think this is the most viable option to move forward to, something that we can actually reach and afford at the same time. And with a 15-year, say, plan in place, that we can budget our way around that, so that's, like I say, it's not a blind side at the end of the term.
yeah.
What's a bumper truck? What value?
A brand new one or used?
Brandon.
Brand new,
God,
we just paid
Shiny.
400, I'll tell you, the price, we paid $430,000, and that was saving our old body. Putting it on a new chassis, and to do that same job on a brand new, with a brand new body, was $125,000 more. So you're looking at 600 plus thousand.
Yeah.
A used fire engine. Probably the 250 range to have something decent, and that's gonna get you another 10 years. Something about 10 years
Yeah.
old.
Compared to 20.
And I can't answer why a ladder truck just goes by the ladder and a pumper just goes by the pump. I have no idea why, but it is in the underwriters.
well, I guess it all boils down to is, what is the town going through? And when I first started almost 30 years ago, you know, we didn't have condos in Annapolis Road. You know, we've had some major fires previous to that. I mean, the town was burnt not once, but twice, so. We're looking at the ergonomics around here now, what's being built. How are we gonna be able to afford, how are we gonna be able to provide adequate service to the residents of the town of Annapolis Rural? And, you know, when it comes down to response time. Like I spoke to Sandy before, you know, if we had an incident on the third story of a condo building up here. We'd be very tasked if there was fire on either side of the apartment we were trying to reach. If we had a ladder, we could put the ladder up to the window and hopefully rescue the person inside. Right now, we're at a catch-22, so. I don't wanna be the one that has to explain to somebody why we didn't have the ability to do it. I wanna be able to provide somebody the ability that we have saved somebody, and that's the reason why we did it.
And essentially going back to having two pumpers, you really have two trucks that do the same job.
Yeah,
We can share the county truck, which is technically our capital money that helps purchase it, that we're allotted each year. We can share the county certified engine from town. Maybe the town will say, okay, well, we'll buy the used ladder, for example, and we'll share with you, so we're getting the best of both, but we also can do a lot more things and broaden our spectrum.
yeah, shared services are always good.
Yeah, and if we were to do that, the county obviously would have to agree
Yes,
to that.
Yeah,
which they allow us now, like, for example, yesterday, that was the county's truck that sat up there and it's never a problem.
Other questions, anybody?
No,
My question.
Sorry, okay.
Sorry.
no, go ahead, Paul, and then I'll go last.
No, Michael's already asked the question I had, which was. If we were looking at not at an aerial truck, but at, we'll call a regular truck pumper, how much would that be in comparison, especially if we went new? My only concern with the aerial, of course, this is just the example that you've given us, which is the 2005 or 325 American, is the age. While it can be certified, or underwriters will approve it for an indefinite period. And even though it's already in good condition, there's going to be things that go wrong with it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
If that
a matter of just to look back to life. So I guess the example I'm not in love with, but the idea of it. Of an aerial truck, I'm not opposed to. I think you've made an argument that sounds valid. But we shall see. It's a question of money, of course.
Holly, you have a question?
No, I'm.
Okay, Sandy?
So I guess my question is just that we have to have one frontline fire truck certified.
Mhm.
And so right now it's the county, so if we get the ladder truck, then if something goes wrong with that front line, we don't have a backup,
No, and we don't have
Correct.
one now,
right?
so we're
Because
still,
ours is too old, yeah.
we're still in the same scenario.
Your ladder truck stays certified, as long as your ladder's good, your truck's certified.
Right, but it won't count as our front line.
She asked about frontline materials, so our frontline, we use that truck a lot. If that goes down, we don't have a front line.
Already have, no,
And that would be the same case if
Same as what
we
we're gonna
switched to a
read.
ladder truck, right?
no, why not if you switch to a ladder truck?
That would be considered frontline,
It would be considered frontline.
okay?
Oh, okay,
As long as the ladder's certified, that truck, according to underwriters, is certified
oh,
as a
perfect.
front line.
That's
Yeah.
So
good.
then we would have the backup,
Yeah,
And
and
we
it
would
wouldn't matter
have-
the age, as long as the ladder certifies, and for example, that truck, I was talking to the guy that works at the shop, they took that entire ladder off. It's completely redone over.
That's good.
so that would cover both
Yeah.
bases, then we would be
That's
covered.
why I hired him, because I just learned something, so.
Right,
There you go.
The county the same process,
yeah,
They got a 2003,
2002, 2003.
and they just sent it down to a place in Quebec. And they spent, I think, $500,000 on it, they had it completely redone. Because like, unless you're damaging it, you're hitting trees and hitting things with it,
Yeah,
there's not a whole lot that go on, they're aluminum ladder, I think they're aluminum.
Yeah.
Aluminum epoxy ladders.
thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for taking the time to come down and explain this to us. I'm sure we'll have questions and we'll be talking.
Feel free to ask anytime.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll have questions for you.
Perfect.
So thank you very much.
thanks again,
you.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
your time.
Yes,
No
your volunteer time again.
Yes, yes, yeah,
It's insane.
all right. Okay, so now we're on to public input, and the public have left, except for the people on YouTube. So we're on to unfinished business, and we have 3 public meeting follows this survey.
So after the last meeting, I went back and started doing the questions. And SurveyMonkey has a free version that you can use, but it only allows you to take 40 responses and you can only use minimum questions.
Yeah.
So to do the SurveyMonkey, it's gonna cost $119. And we can do it within the month. And we have money that we could take out of the public meeting budget there. And then I just gave you the sample questions to make sure that we were all under agreement after the last conversation.
Okay, so comments, we'll move to comments about the survey. Who wants to start?
Is there any way of ensuring that we don't get multiple responses from the same person?
Not through SurveyMonkey, no.
You can't
By ID.
see.
No, because we also have the option, because not everybody can go on the internet to do them, that we're gonna do paper copies for if someone wants to come pick up a paper copy and return it, and then staff are gonna input the responses.
My only comment is that I like that it's simple questions and there's not that many. And you really pared stuff down, so I'm happy with it.
Other comments about the survey? I think question 1 needs to be reworked simply because they don't all fit. Some people fit 2 categories or more categories.
Yeah, so you can pick more than one.
Yeah, but it doesn't. So I can be a commercial business in the county. I think it'd be clear if are you a ratepayer in the county or the town? No, I think it'd be yes or no might be better. To pare it down. So I just suggest switching that.
Because some people though
I
rent a business and then you wouldn't be allowing them to vote as a Annapolis.
That's why I
Royal
think we have to be really careful about that screening information up front. Are you, a resident, yes or no? You rent in town, yes or no? Do you have a business in town, yes or no?
Oh, so you want them all as separate questions?
Well, I realize you're limited by questions,
Not if we're paying.
not if we're paying. I think that's what we really need to get. We need to get one clear.
Well, see, I took it as, are you a taxpayer in the town of Annapolis? Yes. Do you have a commercial? Yes. Do you rent? Maybe yes or no. I don't know. I just took it as you would just click. But yeah, I'm
And if you
happy to
live-
change it.
And
I
if you
can
live in
no
the county
hurry.
but have a commercial business, you could still
Click,
click.
because there's definitely
But if
that
it's
is.
Are you a
confusing,
taxpayer in the commercial business? That is not clear.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Not the
not
way
clear.
it's reading.
It's not, yeah. So
Okay,
it's clarity, that's
Yeah.
all. I'm just saying one could be clearer. And the other thing is,
But how do you want it clearer is my question. Like, do you want it all separate questions?
I think we could just do some work on it, so to clarify. But right now, are you a taxpayer in the rent in Annapolis Royal doesn't make sense,
Do it as separate questions.
Hmm.
Then I can just check it off as.
People are, you can answer it any way you want.
Yeah.
So do we really need to make it complicated? If I'm filling in this survey and I don't live in Annapolis Royal and I don't own a business in Annapolis Royal, I have no ties to the town, I can still say, check the box saying I'm a ratepayer here. And fill in the
But most
survey.
people are pretty good. I mean, we haven't had that. And yes, anything can happen, like one person can fill in 10 paper copies, that can happen.
But what I'm getting at is, it would be nice, of course, that people will answer honestly. Have the one question, are you a ratepayer? Yes or no? And digging down deeper as to whether or not they rent a store or own a store or whatever else is really just giving us information we don't need. I don't know.
Well, it'd be kind of interesting to know how many people owned a business, for example, kind of owned a business in town. I'd be interested in, was it a resident or a business? Just It would just be a, just a fact, but.
That's
not
more of a curiosity fact than anything.
Well, except normally when you say there were so many respondents, you can kind of describe what they are. They were mostly residents or they're mostly this. But I'm not stuck on it anyway.
Okay.
So are we mostly okay with it, subject to a little bit of clarification, is that? Do we give direction to staff to go ahead?
Well, you're gonna do the individual questions on those, right? Is that what you wanted for direction
Yeah, I want it
or
direct-
some direction on that?
So I'll do, are you a taxpayer of Annapolis Royal? Yes, no?
Do you,
Do you live in the county? And then maybe I'll do, do you run a commercial business? Do you rent in
And-
town? And they can check those ones.
Yeah.
Just take it in one question and
Yeah.
separate them all into different
Okay.
responses.
Okay, and when you say rent in Annapolis Royal, rent for commercial
Rent-
use or
residential.
rent for
Rent.
residential?
Yeah, residential rent,
Okay,
or I can do commercial slash. Commercial, but well, if you're a commercial business, it doesn't matter if you're renting or not.
yeah, it does. Cause if you're a commercial business and you're,
You're paying taxes.
You-
If you're
no,
renting, you're not
no.
paying taxes.
that's what I say, so if you're renting residentially, but if you're renting commercially, then you're not paying taxes.
Neither one of. them
Neither one are
taxes.
paying
Yeah.
taxes, though.
Indirectly through your rent.
If you live outside of town and have a commercial business, you're paying taxes if you own that building.
But you're a ratepayer.
Then maybe some of these.
So
we don't
really,
need.
you just combine it as
Yeah.
rent,
Mhm.
right? You're a renter,
Yeah,
Yeah,
whether it's commercial or not, it's the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously you're a taxpayer if you own property for commercial. Yes, okay, I think we're,
Okay.
I think we're
so
going
pass that
down.
off To staff to look after, are we
Yeah.
okay with that?
yeah,
because it's gonna go out in the water bills and in the newsletter
love
this
that.
month, so.
Okay. So that's the public meeting follow-up, HR policy. Tax form.
So the disadvantage, my iPad decided to do an upgrade and
Oh my gosh.
I'm literally, look at this.
Oh, you're so close.
And I'm like, do you shut it? How do you get out of it?
You can't.
So the updates that we went through last month were changed. The only thing that was left was the group insurance. So Melanie did a RFD for the group insurance and gave you prices and did a suggestion to change it to 65-35. And then the amounts are in there in our RFD.
I'm just trying to find what she had wrote there.
So we're currently paying $3,000 towards approximately. When at the 50-50 level, it's $3,000 is our expense.
I think that was the differential, right? It was the differential that was on top of what we were.
Top of what we pay.
Next
That's
year.
doing the 75-25 differential?
No, that's the 50-50.
Yeah, they had a crisis about, and so we agreed to bridge for
For 1 year.
3,000, but it was just a bridge.
Yeah.
Until we figured out what to do.
So we really won't know how much. Exactly. We'll just be doing 65-35, but we really won't know exactly how much, will we?
Well, she gave you the numbers
Right
there.
here,
The
yeah.
numbers
the
per
Per person,
yeah.
right,
Right.
because we don't know who's gonna be on it
Well, that's what I'm
next
saying.
year, and so it's just going to be,
It's just,
and it'll be effective. April 1 of 2025,
right,
right? So depending on the new council and your decision, if you allow council members to join the group, that's the next
Mhm.
item. Then that would change the cost there
Depending on if counselors decided to,
to join or not, yeah.
yeah,
But staff have no options. They are mandated to join unless they have a benefit plan somewhere else.
And right now it's roughly 5 people.
No, I think in her thing it was seven.
7. Yeah, so they have to unless there's another,
They have to join it?
Correct.
is that,
And then there's
That's
3
mandated.
premium options, there's a,
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3.
what?
I'm sorry, which page is the numbers on?
For example, page 30.
Her RFP is,
Yeah, it's 31. But it may be. It's actually go to 60, like 62.
62.
Mhm.
2.
It depends on which way you. Yeah. 62, 63.
And that's this page.
Thank you.
So am I right to assume that most times it's a 50-50 split? For businesses or for any group plans?
They were, I think in her RFD, she has
Mhm.
what Middleton
Middleton and
and
Digby
Digby.
have a different range.
Okay, so Digby, it's 72-28.
Yep.
Middleton, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
The county of Annapolis is 60-40.
So that's what the neighbors are doing.
So I'm sorry, what pages are the costs to us, the town?
Well, this,
I went through it and I guess I missed that. The only dollar number I saw was the 3,000.
Yeah, we didn't get the annual figure because it appears all over the
Well,
budget.
it's,
But we'd
Well,
have,
it's
it-
different
we'd have
for
it in
every-
our
it
budget right
depends.
now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What
it's in the budget,
what the
yeah.
existing is?
I guess that specific question wasn't asked of Melanie. But it could be.
so it's kind of just,
She can give us what the costs are now for the number of people.
right,
Sure,
because
she could give us that.
To give us an idea of what
Yeah.
it's going to cost if we change.
We can ask that question.
What 50-50 was and what 60-40 or.
I'm not sure it's in there.
right now,
I
she's
didn't
doing
see it.
65,
I didn't see
35.
the total anywhere.
It's in the emails from the
60.
Oh, from
company,
the
The
Blue
license.
Cross.
from the Blue Cross company, yeah.
Okay.
Did she give a reason for the 65-35 split?
I think it's kind of middle of the road because the
Yeah.
county, like I said, is 60-40. Middleton is 50-50, which is how ours was, and then Digby is 72-28. That's a interesting one.
But the rationale is that it's becoming increasingly expensive. And so rather than the employees bearing the brunt of that
Exactly.
higher cost, that it should be shared, greater proportion of it should be paid for by the employer. That's the
So
rationale.
apparently the total costs are in the letter from Blue Cross, all. I don't remember seeing it there, but the preceding letter to the.
So a single, like I'm on page 70 of 148, but I'm not sure which tab you go through. And the single coverage is 186.07 for option one.
Yeah,
The family is 442.94. So the pool A, so that would be half and half. If you go to 64, 65, 35, those are the numbers that you would use.
so
And then next year, these won't be the numbers you use because it'll be different numbers.
Yeah.
So she can't give you what it's gonna cost you in 2025 because we don't know what these rates are gonna be.
But we do know what it's costing us this year.
Yeah, and those are the numbers. We're at
Right there.
50-50. Times 7 people.
So
And then we bumped
7
up.
people,
so A gives you orthodontic,
We're not like, those are the options that we have.
and she highlighted A
Yeah, because that's the pool that we're in and the option that we're in.
right now.
Yeah. So if you take say 186 divided by 2, it's $93 that times 7 people times 12 months.
So are
That's
the
for a
other
single
municipal
person.
units using that? I mean, you get coverage is 100% coverage for basic services. Is that what the other municipal units are using?
That's irrelevant, what the other municipal services are using,
Well, no,
right?
Because-
Well, she didn't go and ask them, what plan are you on? Do you get 85% of this back and do you pay
Well,
200 for glasses?
but
This is
option
the plan,
2 is less money and option
Yeah.
3 is a lot less money.
right,
So if it's 72% of option 3,
but each municipality votes on what option they prefer.
I know, but it's just
So last time when we voted, we had half of them wanted option 2 and half of them wanted option 1. And then there was one person that wanted option 3, because they couldn't afford option 1 or 2,
right,
right? So that was completely across the board. Now, the county of Annapolis lets the staff vote on theirs, but council decides which option they're going in.
yes.
They will ask them their opinion, but the council and budget has the final decision.
And that is how it worked in my world. The owners, he said, okay, we're now switching to this because this is what we can afford,
Right,
not this package because this is what you want. So we went from 100 to the 80. And it's a 50-50 split.
Right, but
and that's why we came and asked for the extra help to cover this year.
it just seems unfair if someone can't really afford it, that they are mandated to have this. I mean, I don't know how that could change, but you know, like, so you didn't have a medical plan, but you couldn't afford or just didn't want this, but you have to. And that's coming off your paycheck.
Yeah,
Is that normal practice?
that's right in the program with the municipality.
Because
Like,
you can't-
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
mean, like,
You can't feel the program unless you have certain numbers. So
okay,
if you can
Yeah,
opt
and-
out of it, you're gonna
and
lose
we,
your program.
and we don't have to have a certain number. She clarified that, but I think that was in her
mm-hmm,
email as well, or her
Yeah.
RFD.
Do we know how many employees are single? How many are family? There's the 2 options.
We have 2 single,
The 5 family.
yep. Are you single?
no, I'm not.
So you need 5.
Do that in a month. 2,000 a year just on that.
So.
I don't like having to do my calculations.
I think it's something that we need, I would like to. You know, the direction,
Presented on Thursday.
yeah, well. There's a lot of questions to it. That there can be, like,
So send your questions in so that we can get them answered.
I did ask at the last meeting. When we were presented with this, my question was, well, how much is it going to cost? How much more is it going to cost?
So we
if
can't tell you that,
But I
because I
need-
don't know, we don't know who is going to be on the plan in April 1 of 2025.
But we know how much it's costing us now in 2024. So if we know how much it costs us in 2024, that will at least give us an idea of how much more we're looking at if we decide to cover an extra 25% or 15% of the cost of the program.
Yeah.
You know, we don't even know what the premiums are going to be next year. So yes,
Right.
next year is
We
total
can't-
unknown, but
Well-
we can
But
have a
that's what
better
we're asking for
idea
is next year.
based on how much are we paying this year at this particular
Yeah.
time.
So it's there, like I don't,
I don't mind running some hypotheticals just to get resolution, like of what it is now based on next number. and
If you-
what it
if
could
you-
be.
did it off those numbers there, roughly, we're looking at $26,000 based on the numbers, 5 and 2. 50/50 is $13,000 it would cost us.
Okay,
So if you're adding on another 15%. You're adding on another 2,600 plus another 1,300. So it's gonna cost us an additional roughly
$1,300.
$3,900, but another $4,000. So it'd up ours to 17,000 and there's down to 9. Roughly,
roughly.
based on kind of those numbers there in that option A. Right, and that's the kind of one of the questions when I was asking about options is, it does make a difference because. That's 100%, that's what's the dental section and stuff like that I was looking at.
Yeah.
So,
And we also found out now that we can take option 1 of the benefits and option 2 of the dental. So they don't have to have both high-end
Right,
options, you can pick and choose.
so if we do this change, the 65 to 35, which is what was recommended. I mean, I won't be on council next year, but maybe that's something that council does go over and decide, look at the 3 options. Like they do in other, cause it is, you guys are. The town is putting more money forward, paying, 65%. So perhaps there would be a look at option A. Or 1, 2, 3 or whatever, and say, well, still ask them to vote, still ask staff to vote on what they would prefer. But then council would make the final decision. But of course, looking at what staff wanted, so I think that kind of is fair. Cause then you'll know more of the finances and then you'll know exactly how much it's gonna be,
And
right?
it's not.
And it'll be based
We
on that.
have to adopt what they've come up with.
Exactly,
And it could be added into the policy that
yeah, and this
That
makes it
the
working
council would
for
make
everybody,
the decision.
cause then you
Well,
can go with the less
that's
amount to
one-
save
one-
money.
question to resolve, and the other one is the split.
Well, that's what I said, so if it's 65, 35, then. I would
Well,
definitely
maybe-
recommend that council make the final call, but of course,
But. I mean,
cause there is an increase to taxpayers, so I would think that. Yeah,
The problem
The
is
council.
small group.
I know,
And claims plus an admin fee, that's you pay claims plus an admin fee, that's what insurance is.
yeah,
So, it's like picking
And it's
number.
not just our claims, it's the
No,
whole
that's right.
provincial claims that are
Yeah.
on the plan, right?
yeah,
Like if we're not a high user, but the town of Digby's a high user, we still have to pay for that.
it all, the rates all
All
kind
kind
of,
of come together.
so this plan is whatever municipal units use it.
Now, the self-insure plan, her note was this is limited to staff time, I wasn't sure what you meant and I forgot to ask her.
Yeah,
What-
she said it was cost prohibitive for.
Except
things,
that,
but
except
she didn't
I
spend
meant
too
true
much time on it.
self-insurance.
Yeah.
Not going through an insurance company, just self-insuring. Because I've seen that done, where the employer just caps it and the committee decides what they're going to, what the limits are going to be, it avoids the admin costs. And then you just manage.
Well, it's $26,000 a year, like you did it yourself, but then you have over $100,000, if you're not a high user group. You're gonna pocket a lot of money. Right, I mean, the budget right now is 26,000.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You can decide, and it's a rolling fund, so the fund can build up or whatever, if it's sick, but. You could have a self-managed system, that's all I'm saying. I've known a business that did self-insure. For their employees,
wow,
and they were larger than the town. And they said it worked very well, but they had an employee committee that made the rules. So to me, that's still an option where council puts a ceiling and says, this is what we're prepared to pay, here within the
Mhm.
structure, and you manage it. So I think that's still an option.
yeah. But is, staff looking for like a recommendation for this 65, 35 tonight?
Well, we bought some time, right? We
Yeah.
bought some time with what we did for this year, but we still have to resolve the issue.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
And is there any feedback on having counselors be a part of this or not be a part of this program?
Well, that was the
Yeah.
next item, she kind of separated them out, but.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think it should be. It is a little awkward if we are gonna be making, if council is gonna be making the final decision.
Well,
You'd have to almost call a conflict, wouldn't you? I don't know. Cause you're. Then,
Conflict?
conflict, I
I
don't
mean, deciding whether or not we could be part of the plan.
no,
Which plan to
so,
pick,
so
once you're in it.
So we go with the 65-35, for example, and then the council sitting at the table deciding which one to pick. And for example, I'm on the plan, would I excuse myself?
Yes.
Because it is a money,
you have to
Okay.
excuse yourself.
Yeah,
because
so
there's
if all
financial
council-
gain on.
then,
Yeah, but if all council is, if
excuse,
the new council is all joining the plan, then council can't make the decision on what one, it would have to.
then it would just have to go to the vote. Okay. Okay, I was just curious about all this new age stuff.
I question the 65-35. The two closest units to us is 60-40 and 50-50. Digby is not a unit that's even comparable to us. But. It's I mean, I know there was an issue with it before because of the change and we had the crunch and there was no options and stuff like that.
I still prefer self-insurance for a little town. And that's just,
But that's a lot of work for staff.
well,
As
not
well,
if the rules
right.
are set up, because there's precedents out there, because you just decide on the limits. Yeah, there's some work to set it up.
Yeah.
But it means that you've got a budget, and as long as the committee establishes the rules, it allows the employer to control the costs. That's the advantage. You know, it allows everybody to know this is what we pay for. And we avoid the admin fee, and the employees get the benefit of that. But it is a big change.
Well, and you have the advantage if you like, if we're not using it. Or not heavy users of it.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, you're gonna be, okay, we got X number of dollars left. We don't have to be at $26,000 next year. We can be at 19.
Well, or
You just keep
you average it over.
Yeah.
Or you average it over to, or like sick leave, you allow it to accrue to a certain amount, or, yeah, you know, it would give the employer quite a bit of control. And it would allow you to set an amount, I think that's the main advantage, it allows you to control the cost.
Something I haven't thought of, but it's option.
Looking for direction.
That's what, yeah, that was just like.
$4,000 additional cost to the town if we make the change approximately based upon current numbers. Has there been any movement on the part of the employees who are currently in the program to sort of move towards a different option that costs less? If
It's a whole
if the
different
costs are
group next
increasing
year.
and the
Yeah.
reason why we wanted, it's being proposed that we change the contribution rates. You know, because the argument is that it's costing too much for our employees. And if our employees have chosen option number one, which is the most expensive. Well, if I find that that's costing me too much, my employer is only contributing so much, then I'm gonna be sort of starting to think, well, maybe option two will save me $42 a month. Or, oh, I'll go for option number three, that'll save me half,
Mhm.
what
And
I'm
it
paying
depends.
now.
Yeah, but I guess it depends what you need or what you're using, right? So if you have glasses, the difference between option one and option three is a big difference, right? If you go to get massage or physiotherapy or all of those, you have in option one, you have $600 for each set.
Yeah.
In option three, you only get $300, right? So if you if those are services that you want, then that's when, but
It appears that our employees want those services. And if our employees want those services.
some of them do, not all of them, because that's where it's the kind of range, right?
Well, the other side of this,
If you're healthy, then you're good to go in the middle, right?
Yes,
If you're older and not sure, then you want as much as possible that you can get.
so on our example of 13 or. At 50/50, we're paying 13,000 of the town on option A at 50/50. If they went to option B, we're still, I don't see why the town couldn't pay the same thing at 13,000, but then they, whatever's less. Would be, so you might get that 65/40 split. Or 60/40 split. If it was a different option. So yes, those that are looking for massages can get up to $300 instead of $600, but they're still gonna get $300 of massage. And we're not, the town's not actually paying anything extra for it. And the employee's paying less.
so we're saving cash.
You know what I mean?
Pay for an extra massage themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a tough nut because it's really a budget thing, right? Like at the end of the thing, it's like. And the difference again is it's not, it's the public money that we're spending.
Yep. And we're going to be coming to the municipal report at some point, which is highlighting again our dependence upon a single ratepayer,
It's
which we know is.
21-22 report that
Yeah,
they're
it's
finally.
2 years.
Like,
I will say though that it's hard right now to get employees. It's hard to keep good employees. So if this little bit of a benefit, you know, if it's 60/40 or 65/35 or whatever it is, might help retain some employees, because you know, we've had employees leave here to go to Middleton because it was higher wages and different things. We've had employees leave here to go to Digby County because of, so if this
Or
is
Annapolis
just,
County.
or Annapolis County, if this is a little bit of a benefit that might retain or, you know, get new employees.
Well, that gives me consideration for the 60/40 matching of the county.
Mhm, yeah, and that's, yeah,
And, but if we were on option 3, they'll have more take-home pay, which for, you know, me as a healthy person, I'd much sooner go to work for an employer where I'll have more take-home pay.
so it doesn't sound like we're gonna get anywhere on that today. So I hate to say it, but in the interest of getting on with the agenda, I'd say this is one to be tabled. With a commitment to go at it one more time
Well,
and make a decision.
But Sandy's gonna want some sort of direction, what we're looking for, I guess. Or like, tabling's not gonna do anything for you, is it?
gives you more time to think about it.
That's right.
That's it,
That's right,
that's all, like,
We're through
unless
this
you.
budget year, we've got a
Yeah.
solution for this budget year, so we can go at it one more time. In the interest of making a decision next time, everybody do their
Or
own.
you can make a motion right now and defeat the motion and, you know,
To-
or
motion in time, yeah.
agree.
we'll table it and take a little more time to throw around.
And we'll put some
Questions?
scenarios together and with the view of making a final decision. The next time this comes before. Okay, all right. And that brings us to new business.
So,
That's it.
so the NSFM benefit ones for municipal
No, yeah,
council, are you going to table that as well then?
I think I table it too. Why not? I do it because it's cost, right? That's what it'll come down to.
so we have 7 employees
You
and
can do some
1
math.
council.
Correct.
Yeah.
But
So we'll do some
it
math.
could be different next
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
right?
but we'll just deal with, yeah, some what ifs. Okay. It'll be a math exercise.
Well. But the math doesn't matter on that, it's a question of whether we were feeling that we should have council members on it. What we
Well,
do
that
is.
matters because
It's cost,
it's
right?
cost,
That's
so
what
if
trying
you're
to say.
saying yes, councils can stay on it. Then that could be a possible 5 additional members at 5. At cost next year, right?
Definitely
And we do
matters.
see that Middleton and Digby both don't allow counselors to be on it.
Does that
Only
say
in-
that?
Only in Annapolis County.
Annapolis County, yeah.
Anyway, I think with all the time we spent on it right now, there's no point going around it one more time. I don't think we're ready for it to get anywhere on it. So if we're okay, we'll move on to tab 6, the 2021-22 municipal report that apparently the province is finalized,
Yes, yep.
and that's why it's here, right?
That's why it's here, yep. So
Yeah.
we're in good shape, except for our one little red house.
Yeah. Oh,
Which is not disappearing anytime soon, or
Well, it is
disappearing.
disappearing.
Yeah. Okay, so that's strictly for information, right?
Yes.
Tab 7 is an electronic motion.
Just, but doesn't the percentage drop though? Of how much that's part of our revenue stream?
it has,
Yeah,
hasn't
but
it?
this is 2021,
But this is
22.
yes,
This
it's
is
not showing
not,
up
this
yet.
is not current. This is an old report. The province just finally got around to finishing it.
Alright,
Yeah,
Yeah, they're,
but you're right, it wouldn't be the same number
no,
now.
not even
It's like,
close.
yeah, 13 or, I forget.
I will note that they do say the amount that our ratepayers cannot afford to pay more taxes.
Yeah, they're bumping up against the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right now,
Yeah.
the high percentage of their income,
it is, yeah.
so.
And then subsequent report will show the same
I was
thing.
gonna say, but
Yeah,
then there's other reports that say that we are on average, we can move our
by a small
residential
amount.
rates by
Yeah,
small
by a
amounts
small
to
amount.
be
Yeah,
leveled off.
yeah. Yeah, we're bumping up the ceiling, but we're not quite there.
No.
So we have tab 7, electronic motion for ratification municipality innovation program. I think you have it.
So you want the motion
Yes, please.
to ratify the motion that council approves submission for the 2024 municipal innovation. Program grant with the county of Annapolis and town of Middleton for the economic development coordinator for the area.
A second?
Discussion.
Well done.
Yeah.
You ready for the question?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Okay,
We just applied, we'll never wait,
You
have to
know-
wait and see.
Yeah.
but you never know, right?
Right, yeah,
You
we
never
applied.
know. Okay, then we have the flood risk infrastructure investment program motion, and that's before us as well.
Where's that one?
On the sheet.
I was gonna say.
It's an added sheet.
Yeah, okay. We've got lots of sheets here.
So what are the construction details?
Oh, this is should have read design.
Where's this? Where?
Seawall design, motion, the flood risk.
Oh,
infrastructure.
design.
It's a
Okay.
motion for engineering design, high level engineering design. So it's for the concept, design of the concept.
Okay,
Because design was not included in the estimates of costs, so we thought if there's money for design, we could get that at least in Chelan.
Mhm.
And was this 80% dollars?
MIP, yes.
Yes, so it's 80% dollars,
Okay,
but
so,
it does require a council endorsement.
How
okay,
much would this be? How much is the cost? Or how much are we applying
32.
for?
Yeah, 35,000,
at our cost?
No,
No,
that was the
No.
total.
so 20% of that.
20% of
75,000.
35,000.
Insurance.
Okay, I can make the motion that council approves submission for the 2024 flood risk infrastructure investment program, FRIIP grant to apply for construction details of the high-level seawall design.
Construct design.
Sorry. Construct.
Construction design?
It's
Engineering construction details. Yeah, okay. Sorry, strike the word construct.
It's high level and won't be detailed design, it'll be high level.
Okay,
And we got the
Okay.
number, we got the number
Yes,
from AIM to make sure that, was there something worthwhile that we could do? And that was their suggestion.
I will second this for discussion.
All right, so open for discussion,
Where would the money come from? Our portion.
through other grants, because we continue, there's all kinds of others. So right now we've applied for 25,000 for the embankment design.
Mhm.
Yeah, just that terrace thing for the war. If we got it, that would pay for 25. So there's a whole list of grants. I think we're up to number 16 that's been identified.
16 grants?
Yes, so far, and so they're just in the queue to apply for. But so far, we've done stuff with matching grants.
And if we get the grant, we don't have to accept it. We don't
Yeah.
have the,
Yeah,
7,000,
if we don't have the match up by that.
and it's just a design.
This is high-level engineering design for the seawall itself.
So then we'll actually have an actual cost at the end of the design.
Yes,
A real-
exactly.
a real cost.
A real cost.
That's good,
Oh, that is really good.
yeah.
So then we'll really go, what the. Great idea.
What, well, we'll know, right? Okay,
All right.
So ready for the question? All in favor?
I,
Right, motion carried, thank you. Okay, next is recommendations from committee boards and commissions. We'd like to go first.
Let's go around the table.
okay, let me, sorry. Oh, I think it's back up here. Pardon me, I'm still on one.
If you just hit the hill.
Would you like me to start?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we're starting with what, the first motion, tab number 8, that council approved the snow and ice policy number 2024-05 dated June 2024 as presented.
Before we second that, is that something that we can actually table
Again,
for the vote? Yes, because it was a very split vote last time and we are down a counselor. So my preference is to table that one till next month.
might go through.
I still would, I prefer to have it tabled.
So you have to second it before you can table it.
Okay,
Do you know? Isn't that Robert's rule?
Second.
Yep.
Yeah, should be seconded.
then I will second that motion. And then I will repeat that my preference is that it be tabled till next month.
I'll agree with Michael.
Charlie?
Oh, well, I would have voted tonight. On the motion. Put forward,
So.
I would have voted
So-
tonight, I was,
So it's a draw.
yeah, I think
So we
that's,
just have to agree what we're going to do
oh,
in that case.
yeah, okay. Then we'll. I don't think there's anything for me to say. Is there? I can't stop a table, can I?
I don't know how it works. but that's my preference. I don't have to be on the table on it.
Cause. Yeah, I don't know how that works, because the reason we're doing this is because I think the feeling of the room is it's may still be a 50-50 split, right? Like,
It would be a draw,
yeah. So I don't know how that works.
and a draw is
It's defeated,
the defeated.
and then it could come back next. Or you can just table it.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
No, okay, I thought it was
So if you're okay
defeated,
with
then
that-
you would stick.
If you're okay with that, Polly, we'll table it.
So if it's defeated, you still have the option, it can be brought, counselors could bring back the motion and have it started, the process again. We could just table it and wait.
Okay, then table it,
Okay,
then we'll vote
Alright.
next time.
okay,
Thank you.
and have a night.
That council approve the first reading of streets and sidewalks bylaw dated June 2024 as presented.
I will second that.
And
We will ask that it be tabled until next council meeting.
Okay,
we go hand in hand, you might as well.
Yeah,
And I guess that goes, yeah,
All right, that brings it to the third motion.
So the further motion is not required now because you didn't pass your first reading.
Mhm.
Next one is tab 10.
Like, to me,
Your turn.
yep, that council approved the fire rate policy number 2024-09 dated June 24th as presented.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Good.
I think we're good.
Question on the motion.
I just had issues again. It says policy procedures. It's not both in three. And to me, there's still two definitions in there. And the applicant is not defined. It's not clearly defined. It says an applicant for the establishment or continuation of fire rate shall be submitted to the town. So I would just suggest some cleanup of the definition of application ratepayer. And I'd isolate those two just as their own and then carry on with the rest. Anyway, that would be my suggestion, because it's not clear in 3.2 who the applicant is.
Okay.
So I'd isolate applicant and ratepayer, because ratepayer is well defined applicant. And I think the idea here is that the fire department is the applicant.
It could be anybody. It doesn't have to be
anyone.
the fire
Okay, so could you
department.
just make it clear? And then in 3.
It's for the establishment though, right?
Aren't we the,
No, the town of Glen Road is the council, and the applicant is for the establishment of the fire rate.
But it's not, you can't submit an applicant is what I'm saying. An applicant is for the establishment of a fire rate shall be submitted to the town, like it just doesn't read well. But I think if we clarify that, we could go ahead and approve with changes.
No, you can't, because it has to go 7 days prior to as received.
Okay, well, I think
So
the
it has to
language
go
still
back, yeah.
needs work. Yeah.
Table it.
Okay.
We table that,
Let's
okay,
get the vote.
right?
Well,
go ahead.
So this is the frustrating part. So it's 7:30, an hour and a half into the meeting. And we made sure at this point that the agenda package went out on Thursday.
So we should have been asking for this before, is what you're saying.
Correct.
And I should have specifically asked for this. Yeah.
About the tabling stuff.
With table.
Well, the questions, all of these questions, if they would have been brought forward to us Thursday, Friday, Monday,
All right,
Mhm.
then we would have had time to respond and have answers prepared.
And that's correct.
And now, once again, we've tabled. And I understand 2 of the tables
Yeah.
because of the voting situation, but anyways, let's carry on.
Okay. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna move that council approve the water utility, or no, it's the water cap.
Yes.
Sorry, move that council approve the water capital budget in the amount of 46,200. And the 2025-2027 as presented.
And we're missing 2024, 2025 after water capital budget.
Yeah, it's sounded a
Separate
little.
sheet. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
it's on a set,
oh,
oh,
this one.
yeah. This is just.
oh, yes, and I see it is actually included.
If you could just reread that.
Sure. That council approve the water capital budget 2024-2025 in the amount of 46,200 and 2025-2027 as presented. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah.
I will second that.
So.
Are you ready for the question?
Question.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next,
That council approved the water utility budget for 2024-2025 and the 2025-2027 as presented.
I'll second that
ready for the question?
question.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Next,
That council approved the travel policy dated June 24th as presented.
Second.
ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor?
Aye.
And motion carried.
Oh, my goodness.
Next,
Okay. Right? It's
It's
the same, right? Okay, I move that.
I get the next one.
I move that council approve the tax rebate reduction for the following non-for-profit properties for 2024 year. Roll 00479993 in the amount of $2,311.50. Roll 02355 in the amount of $3,463.50. Roll 000922428 in the amount of $768. Roll 02045 in the amount of $187.50. Roll 02045 in the amount of $2,131.50. Roll 0361157 in the amount of $1,494. Roll 1033204 in the amount of $1,093.50. And roll 06445 in the amount of $1,950.
Well done.
I will second that.
You ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next.
That council approve the low income exemption for roll number 107906662, provided the account is in good standing.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next.
That council approve the provincially mandated seasonal business reduction for 2024 for the following properties. Roll number 92274, an amount of $3,524.80. Roll number 1408402, an amount of $1,082.40. Roll number 2466988, an amount of $4,205.60. Roll number 3144577, an amount of $2,460. Roll number 4542975, an amount of $4,336. And roll number 4032829 in the amount of $1,276.80, provided all taxes are in good standing.
I'll second.
Ready for the question? All in favor?
Well, I'm not really in favor, but I will vote for it, but as
We don't have a choice.
many, yes, I know, but as many businesses that try to stay afloat year round, these numbers. It's not right. It's really isn't. That's,
And we
Not
look
helping
into the
those
province.
and I
For
know,
our unhappiness.
yeah, that's all we can do, and I appreciate that, and I'm sure. Any other business owner who tries to keep a business afloat year round appreciates that.
Yeah. it's the
Because this
lack of
could help the
fairness, isn't
town.
it? It's the
Well,
lack of fairness.
And the province could do something, but to take money that the town should be getting, it's not right.
To shut down businesses.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's absolutely awful.
this is a lot of money.
Now, Medic
And we
did
could-
request that they consider an incentive for businesses who
Yeah.
do stay open.
Yeah, oh, yes, and I sit on that committee.
I would much rather lose this money for these businesses to be open than to close,
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
it's, yeah,
So are we ready for the question? Protest noted.
yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Okay, so all in favor?
I,
You could.
It wouldn't matter.
Okay,
So I,
motion
what
carried.
happens if we say nay to this?
Okay.
It's provincially mandated though.
Next is the pension bylaw. Yes, it does say that, the provincially mandated.
So what-
seasonal business.
so why do
Why do
we
you
vote
vote?
on it? It's like voting on something you have no say, okay. I move that council approve the first reading of the pension bylaw number 82 dated June 2024.
I'll second that.
It's have two parts.
Well, we could have a public meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Next. Public meeting.
That council approves the public meeting for the pension bylaw on July 17th, 2024 at 6 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next.
That council appoint Melanie Robinson as the returning officer in the October 2024 municipal elections.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next.
I move that council appoint Donna Neath as the assistant returning officer and Melanie Stubbs as the special elections officer. auditor in the October 2024 municipal election.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. On to reports. And mine is the first one. I'll just say I just have two additions to that. There was intermunicipal services agreement meeting this morning with the 7 municipal units. And I'll report on that in my next report. I will.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Yes. I did attend all the Dugai events. And I have to say that Inigo and
I'm still
Sally
not sure
really
about that.
did an excellent job of putting together the event at the county, the reception. The talk at the hub over here, the Meet the Governor event at Parks Canada, so the habitation. So it's really well done, and I would suggest the town center a letter of appreciation for making the Duga event, highlighting it and elevating it for everybody. The county council were out in force that evening. The honorary council was up from Halifax, Rabadi Mazarod was here. Lorraine, Elder Lorraine Peters from Representative Mingma was there with the drumming ceremony. It was really well done, beautifully attended, great food. So with your permission, we'll send her a letter of thanks. Okay,
Absolutely.
that's my mayor's report. And the CAO report is there. Any questions for Sandy? Anything to add, Sandy?
No, it's been a busy month and it went fast.
No, it's 19.
You have the planning services report, tab 15, no, not much activity there. The water reports, everything logged in is absent. And we have Councillor Sanford on the next 3 reports.
Okay, I sent in my market and economic development report. It was a separate tab.
That wasn't sure, it was only sent on Tuesday, it was too late.
Too late, okay. My
One
apology.
copy, 3.
I can probably find it in my sense. That's what was there. There we go. There we go. Oh,
Got it. That's great.
okay, so medic. We spoke about the Pride Weekend, which happens, it's a 1-day event this year, July 13th. There'll be activities and a parade. The town round table that Medic hosted. Our takeaway was perhaps only do it twice a year. We thought maybe that they were too close because we didn't have as big turnout. And maybe focusing it more on the lightning round format as opposed to having presenters come. We'll try it. I think we're gonna do one in the late fall. And UNESCO Heritage Committee, still looking for members to join. Ann Crosman has graciously offered to sit on the committee, so that's great. And we're working on a collaborative marketing fund for businesses to work together in hopes to create a bigger bang for their buck. And the town is gonna have grants set aside to help market that event. Twinning committee update. We're updating the current document, and Spencer and Daniela both have graciously offered to go and work on the document. NATO Day committee, just update it from the chair on the events of the weekend. Everything seems to be going smoothly. What is, oh yes, the Market Message Center Citizens Proposal. We're working on a few details before it gets presented to council, but there is a kiosk type message board that may come to council in the very near future to vote on to put up, so people can find brochures and what's happening around town, where the washrooms are, that kind of thing. And the citizen has also offered to very kindly look after this, so it doesn't become a mess. Oh, there was the information brochure on Twinning and Pierre Dugara.
The interns.
Oh, the interns were, yes, I never mentioned that report, but the interns were the ones that went around and talked to the businesses and
They created the brochures.
they created that brochure. And if the film regulations for our province, a letter to the Minister of Communities, Culture, Tourism and Heritage will be created and sent to council for approval. Because we would like to be a part of
Film those.
Film Nova Scotia, right? Wouldn't that be great? Okay. So I gotta go back to my part of the meeting.
Great.
Okay, next Board of Police report, so we just happened to have met this morning, so I didn't have a chance to do the report. So let me see, during the meeting, the chief reported on the incident that happened yesterday, June 18th. And he is going to do an update on social media in the next day or so to the public. And other than that, we spoke about Triton. It's still trickling along, making a little bit of money, still doing well. And that's about it.
Right.
What's the next one?
Planning and Heritage.
We didn't meet.
That's right.
There was, yeah, it's been really quiet because there's been several that's been no activity.
And you have my training report that was included in mayor's report. On to the library report.
The library board meets tomorrow for their AGM. And for the traffic flow advisory committee, we didn't have a meeting.
Green Mobile next month.
And the interim board, you've got just my brief notes. I have the IMFA package, but I haven't even had a chance to. Sandy, if you guys got any comments about today's meeting, I haven't even digested it yet. So.
We have a conversation in camera.
So next is environment, and she's not here, Academy Board, Friends of the Pool, Accessibility Committee. There was one meeting, I did forget to report on that. So that's good, we're still seeking one more member, and the action plan is going to be updated. So we have to produce another action plan. Time has passed and it needs to be updated, so everybody's on board to do that. And that's it for reports. Now, did we miss a travel policy? Did we miss something in there?
No, we passed that.
It did go through,
Yeah,
okay.
That was the one where we increased the, yeah,
Okay, I missed
Meals
that,
and
even
stuff.
though I was here.
yeah,
Okay.
it was quick.
Correspondence from the Attorney General, Minister of Labor, Minister of Justice, excuse me, tab 17. So you've all got the news about the public consultation and municipal consultations. And of course, the town did send off our letter about, with all our suggestions, which you've seen. And then we've got the 12 months notice letter, which was 3 pages worth. That's probably the longest one we've seen in the last 4 years. So you can see what's coming down the pipe. And that's it on that. And so if there is no further business, we'll first of all, we'll say goodbye to anybody who's still with us on YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us.